This past week, I received probably up to 24 text messages, emails, a couple of phone calls from an article that was in the ADA Weekend Edition and in the ADA Finance Edition. It was titled, "The ADA Council Urges Dentists Report Full Fee to Payers." Oh my gosh. What a cookie-cutter business article. The same crap, different day. Don't worry, I'm about ready to rip this dumbass article to pieces, and my wife's going to attend, so I'm going to try not to swear. We begin our podcast? Yeah, right there.
Welcome, all of you fantastic dental podcast listeners, to the My Practice, My Business Dental Podcast Show, where we help dentists profit and thrive with excerpts from the clinical business of dentistry training here at My Practice, My Business. We'll be addressing and answering questions with current trends dentists and their teams face each and every day in their pursuit of this wonderful career we call dentistry. And now the host of our show, the clinical director and president at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
I just want all of you to know that I had to pause for a minute. I am still just laughing inside. Yes, I am playing my angry intro music today, because I am so sick and tired of this crap. The American Dental Association should know better. That's the bottom line. Let me be very clear. By the way, let me introduce my sweetheart with us today, Tracy Thorup, the CEO of My Practice, My Business.
Hello, hello. This is going to be a fun one. I don't get angry very often, but this is one of the things that's really taking me off as well.
You don't want to piss my wife off. No, that's not a good place to be. I just want to be very clear, and honey, just cut in and chime in with me, because I don't even know where this is going to go, but it's going to go to a place that all of you need to know about. I want to be very clear from the start. Dental insurance companies, commonly called third-party payers, that's exactly what they should be called, not insurance companies. They do not set their reimbursement fees based upon your fee-for-service fees. Did you hear me? Let me say it again. And I don't care what office manager extraordinary you are out there. I don't care who's been to ADOM or whatever you've been to. Any of those consulting companies that are out there, because Tracy and I have seen the software that the insurance companies set their fees based upon analytics and profit and loss. So for the ADA to imply this false statement is factual is unbelievable to me. They should know better. It's articles like this that drive membership down, because those of us in PPO-driven states know this article to be anything but true. My goodness, ADA. They set those reimbursement fees based upon their profit and loss of their company. How much comes in via premiums to the company and how much is paid out in benefits, and they guard their set profit margins based upon that.
We're seeing that all the time. I mean, I'm just now on the dental manager group on Facebook, and people are complaining that the insurance companies are now no longer covering or paying for things that they normally would have. And I saw a statement earlier today where somebody said, "Welcome to insurance, dental insurance 2023, because they're realizing there's a huge change in those reimbursement rates. And why? We know why.
God. Well, let's look at this article in depth, shall we? The teaser on the front page, it reads this: ADA Council urges dentists to report full fee to payers. The ADA Council on Dental Benefit Programs, and I'm quoting, said dentists should report their full fee when submitting dental claim forms for services reported to third-party payers. The council also encouraged dentists to review PPO agreements annually and to discuss potential increases in fee schedules with payers. End of quote. God, let me just read. I'm going to read this one that came into our office just the other day. Hello, we appreciate you reaching out to us. This is coming from an insurance company, folks. We're negotiating fees with them. We appreciate you reaching out to us about renegotiating your current, I won't say the insurance company, fee schedule. Based on your current fee schedule with us and market data, we will renegotiate your top codes. Please use the chart below and provide us with your top codes and, drumroll,
your fee-for-service fees.
Or UCRs is what they call them now, right? So please submit your codes in order of importance for consideration, up to 20 codes. Please note that we may be able to offer a higher percentage increase with fewer requested codes. Oh my gosh, we have the analytics. They'll raise those codes that we want more reimbursement on, and guess what they do, folks? They lower other codes unbeknownst to you because they have to make corporate profitability. Now, here's the $1 million question. Why did they ask for our UCR fees, Trace? Take it away.
So here's the interesting thing. If we had followed the status quo like many other offices in the U.S. have done, and we were already submitting our fee-for-service fees, the question is, why are they asking for it again? Are they looking at the submitted fee-for-service fees and the claims? Or are they looking at these top 20 codes that they're requesting of our fee-for-service fees? They can't. It doesn't make sense, and I hope that you're seeing the same thing.
I'm really wondering why the ADA is urging this reporting to dental insurance companies. That's a $1 million question. Why is it? Those of us who have been PPO providers for years know that our reimbursement fees haven't even come close to keeping up with the cost of living index. And all of you know that, both with offices who have been submitting their fee-for-service fees and those who have not. And the main and only reason third-party payers want us to submit our fee-for-service fees is so they can show their clients on that lovely EOB the remarkable discount they receive by purchasing their dental plan versus not having a dental insurance plan at all. And is the ADA touting the strategy because they receive a buttload of money from the dental insurance companies from the leasing of the CDT codes to them? That's the only reason I came up with, because I typically follow the dollar when it comes to the reasons why people do what they do. It's called greed in most religions, just a thought. I don't know.
So that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, is why suddenly we are being urged over and over to submit our full fee-for-service fees when you and I know, Rob, that when we submit our claims to the insurance companies, we submit our negotiated amount for covered services.
Oh my gosh. All you office managers listening,
so
don't pass out.
If that's
don't say, don't turn it off now. Oh, they're wrong. They're wrong. You cite your source. Cite your source, because we're happy to show you our sources, play recordings, show you. Oh my gosh.
So what's interesting to me is I was just reviewing, and as we should, every year we should be reviewing these fees, making sure that we're optimizing everything, staying away from something that's called stacking, which is done by many other negotiation specialists. So I definitely, look into that and how it is not a good thing, but making sure that we're optimizing these insurance companies. And what's interesting to me is we actually get reimbursed a significantly higher amount than the average dental office in our state.
And we are and what are we submitting to the insurance companies?
Our contracted
fees, and oh my God. So it goes to the second sentence, which in that whole statement, which is interesting because in our office we receive higher reimbursement rates than our neighboring dentists. And yet we have sent in our contracted fees for over 20 years, people. One more statement that should make your blood boil is the fact, after 2 major investigations over the last 18 years that we have conducted, I've just barely retired as a private investigator in a company I've worked with for years. In over 18 years, insurance companies have stated to us in recorded conversation that they have no idea where the idea of sending in your fee-for-service fees has any impact on their reimbursement fees. They don't know where the misinformation came from. They just laugh at it. And they just sit back and they don't say anything. And that's the words of the PPO leadership. I'm talking CEOs, COOs, CFOs. That's their words, not ours. Anyway, let's have some more fun with the truth on this lovely article from the ADA. We read, quote, "It is always appropriate to report your full fee," end of quote. Wait. On the teaser page, they state, quote, "The ADA Council urges dentists to report full fee to payers," end of quote. They start out with an urge and then move to it being, quote unquote, appropriate. Well, to send in your fee-for-service fees. That was at the beginning. I just love the movement from a direct command of urging to the wokeness of appropriateness in sending in the fee-for-service fees. It reads like this, quote, Dental Insurance Hub, it is always appropriate to report your full fee, end of quote. I'm sorry, folks, MPMB, we don't teach fluff and stuff. We teach hardcore business principles. We just don't. You're not going to stand up and rub shoulders and have hoorahs and everything else in our training. No, that's why people love our training. That's why they're successful. They're solid business courses taught by people with real business degrees and real world dental experience. Sorry, honey.
No, not at all. I think that's just to reinforce this. We've done our investigation. We know that there are definitely 3 specific entities that help these insurance companies with figuring out what they want to set their fees at. We are not going to name them. That's something that we talk about during the training, but we definitely have the information.
Yeah, we share stuff after you've signed a non-disclosure agreement, and then we share with you factual stuff and back it up with written word and recordings.
But why are we shocked at this? Ultimately, they're going to check it, profit and loss. They're going to set their fees accordingly. They're going to use as much data as they can pull. May also information from fee surveys that are gained by other third-party people. I'm sure you can figure that one out too. But now they've set their fees based on profit and loss. Now, if you reached out to them as a front office person, even you, Doc, and you're trying to negotiate your new fees, how would you feel if they simply pushed back and said, here you go, here's your new fee, without any type of input from you? They know that you would be extremely frustrated at not having any say or perceived say over what those fees are. And so, of course, they're going to say, well, go ahead and give us your fee-for-service fees. We'll look at them. We'll put them into a consideration and maybe bump it a little bit more. Well, we've asked those agents, what do you do with these fee-for-service fees when you actually receive them during the negotiation process? The answers were shocking, from anywhere from, I don't know, I just kind of throw it on my desk and it disappears. But the most shocking thing I heard was, I throw it in the garbage, Tracy. Do you really think that I have the ability to change what the reimbursement rates are based on what you give me? No. She goes, but at least you feel that you had some type of say over this. It's a placebo. It's amazing.
Honey, it's just, here's the question that I have. Of course, nobody wants, okay. So in defense of a lot of people out there, you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know how to conduct an investigation like my team and I have been trained to do. I get it. I understand. All right. But start questioning things. Start questioning the sources of the information that you're receiving, because every time we have groups come through training, of course, we put everything out there. So their jaws are hanging off their heads. They're sitting back. They come into training on day one, and every office is the same. It's so fun to watch. They come in, arms are folded. Why am I here? What am I going to learn? This is going to be another stupid training. And after the first 3 modules, the arms come unfolded. The next 3 modules, their jaws hit the ground. And by the end of just day 1, they're going unbelievable. Not the kind of training we thought we were going to receive here. This is hardcore business training. My head's swimming. I just can't even. I got to go back to the hotel room or back home and just process what I just heard and what I just learned, because it's not what we've been told all of our lives long in dentistry. And yet we're the ones passing state laws. We're the ones that go into other states and help them with their laws. And we're the ones that are battling the insurance companies on behalf of all you. And then comes the editor's note in this, which reads, quote, Dental Insurance Hub is a series aimed to help dentists and their dental teams overcome dental insurance obstacles so they can focus on patient care, end of quote. Now, full disclosure, yeah, I'm sorry, ADA, you should know better. I am an ADA member. I want all of you to know, and I've said this before, I support the American Dental Association, I support the Utah Dental Association. I support every association. Are there executives in some states that are better than others? Oh, God, yes. Unbelievable. We're grateful in Utah that we got a very active, hardworking guy. But other states, I honestly, all of you should fire them and your leadership while you're at it, because they're just there to get a plaque, in my opinion. But the ADA is doing some really good things, and that's why everybody should join. You got to take the good with the bad, just like in everything. Right, hun?
Absolutely. And that sentence actually got to me too, because I was looking at the fact that they're trying to help dental teams overcome dental insurance obstacles. Well, what are some of the obstacles that we have? And the number one thing that I can think of, the insurance companies are turning patients against us. And how are they doing that? Well, number one, they're trying to allude that we should be writing off things that we should not be writing off on those EOBs. But secondly, when they have us submit our full fee, knowing very well that we should be dropping it down, now there's the illusion of that discount that the patient depends so much on. And so through those different methods, they are absolutely setting it up for us to be the bad guys. And that's where it frustrates me, because we're here to help the patient. We're here to get paid fairly for what we do. If we know that what we submit is inaccurate from an accounting perspective, we should not be doing that. We need to bill exactly what we expect to get back. And that pressure that we're getting from the ADA now, why? That's really odd.
Yeah, we're not conspiracy theorists, but definitely follow the dollar. That's all you have to do. I'm just laughing because all of you docs and office managers out there that are listening to this podcast that are teachable and open-minded and actually can scratch your head and say, something ain't right here. This doesn't make sense. Yeah, those are ones we love that are teachable and open-minded. May I humbly suggest to the ADA that they get more aggressive in going after third-party payers, and same with all of you, with legislation that prevents them from attempting to control the quality of patient care in dentistry, right? Like downcoding and bundling procedures and forcing dentists to do free dentistry via those imposed write-offs that actually break state laws with non-covered services, let alone the very contracts we sign with those PPO plans. You know those contracts that you all study and read before you sign them, right? Mm-hmm. That's right, people. As most of you know, dental insurance companies change their contracts and handbooks on us at will and bully the unknowing into writing off procedures they never had to if they only knew how to push back. That's part of our training. Now then, like I said, in defense of the ADA, there's something that they're working on, speaking of non-covered services. If they get the DOCS Act, the Dental and Optometric Care Act, if they've been working on this for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. If they get this passed in 2024 and its verbiage is not watered down to appease the wokeness of the dental insurance companies and everybody else, that would be a huge win for the ADA and worthy of being a member for sure. Hands down, just that one thing would be worthy of being an ADA member. But they've been trying to pass that for a long time. This is what I mean about the ADA needs to be more aggressive in protecting dentists against third-party payers. And how is it done? It's simple. It's called protective legislation, like what we've done here in Utah. And what's really interesting is I have not met the ADA executive, but I have heard that he is watching the things that MPMB and the Utah Dental Association working in unison. He is watching how things are being done here. And the fact that he's watching, that was just a step in the right direction. So let's read. Do you have anything else to add,
Well, just thinking of the DOCS Act, I think the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is the definition of a covered service. In every different state, the definition is completely different. Some states will say that a covered service is anything that they pay for. And some insurance company or some states will turn around and say, well, a covered service is anything that they would have paid for if not for all these other things, including other plan limitations. So it's completely broad. So I think that the focus, if this law is passed, it would be fantastic to make sure that the definition of a covered service was standardized across state lines, because we can't just have it one way in one state, one way in another.
And as we've done our research and studied the different laws in all the states, that's what we found, isn't it? That they're not all the same.
They're not. And that's where it gets frustrating, because
some states have more powerful non-covered services laws than other states.
And I tend to be very black and white with that, right? If they don't pay for it, it's not covered. A good example would be fluoride. Some states will state that something is covered if not for age restrictions. Okay, great. So you've got a 20-year-old who needs fluoride. Insurance will say, well, we would have covered it if they had been 14 or under. They're never going to cover that for the future of the patient's life, right? So for me, making sure that we are very clear with what is covered, I think is going to really help if we can standardize that.
Going into the article a little bit further, we read, quote, the ADA Council on Benefit Programs is recommending that it is always appropriate to report the full fee in the dental claim form for each service reported to a third-party payer. A question frequently asked of the ADA staff is, what fee should dentists put on the dental claim form, said Dr. Johnston, chair of the council's dental benefit information subcommittee. My full fee or the plan's maximum allowable fee, end of quote. Well, a full fee is they went on to say a full fee is the fee for service that is set by the dentist, which reflects the costs of providing the procedure and the value of the dentist's professional judgment. A contractual relationship does not change the dentist's full fee. Therefore, the council recommends that it is always appropriate to report the full fee, end of quote there. Can I just remind all of you that the large majority of dentists set their fees on utilizing fee surveys from the ADA or their dental suppliers, or who God only knows where they get those fee surveys from, right? Let me tell you where dentists do not set their fee-for-service fees from, and that is basing their procedure on the direct operating costs to complete the procedure with a 30 to 50% corporate profit margin on it, just like any other business would do. Then I hear colleagues say, Rob, I can do that with my fee-for-service patients, but it's impossible to do on my PPO plans I take. I hear that all the time, okay? And that is what we teach, because we teach you how to do it, because that statement that you can't do it on PPO plans is simply not true. You absolutely can be profitable on the majority of procedures on PPO dental plans if you know what you're doing. And I'm not talking about cramming your schedule or busting your backs and cramming, double, tripling the hygienists and killing them and all the rest of the team members. No. This is why our dental business trainings have been packed with dental teams who are tired of being misled by so many in our industry. The fact is, none of you read your contracts and none of you understand the state laws and how to bill appropriately, because you're being led by the blind. The blind being the same people who have been teaching the same crap for umpteen years. That's who you're listening to, instead of people who understand contracts, understand state laws, and teach you how to do this legally, ethically, morally. It just drives me insane how dentists set their fee-for-service fees, and then they submit those to the ADA or Shine or Patterson or whoever, and so everybody's sharing the same fee schedules that are based on no business principles whatsoever.
What's really fun for me, okay, so this is interesting. You're my brain's spinning now. I'm just thinking of all the things that we focus on here. I'm thinking about the office that does pull from the fee surveys, and the doctor will always say, I don't want to be the most expensive, so I'm going to pick the 80th percentile. Before you know it, everybody picks the 80th percentile, and that's now the new high. That's really odd to me. But secondly, I think that we tend to muddy it, and we're not looking at it again from a black and white perspective, which is ultimately how much does it cost to run your practice? What's your DOC? And what's the profit margin?
DOC being direct operating costs.
Direct operating costs per
another thing to say is your overhead.
Your overhead.
But people don't understand what their overhead is half the time either, do they?
That's where it's fun for me, because I get to teach that part, right?
I know.
It's super fun. But from there, if you're given a fee survey or a fee schedule from an insurance company, and you know how much it costs to do that procedure, it's pretty obvious whether or not you should accept the insurance company or not, right? So it's very clear to you. If you know that your overhead's going to be $700 an hour and you're getting only $600 for that service from start to finish, you're losing $100.
Well, that's where you have to, and let me just back up, honey.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's an $800 procedure and you're getting $600 for it. Mm-hmm. Then that's why everybody's trying to run double hygiene and kill the hygienists' backs and brains and hands and everything. they're having to run double hygiene and hoping x-rays are being taken at the same time just to maintain the overhead, maintain the wages that they've always had, working harder, not smarter.
And where's your profit margin?
They don't have it.
Exactly.
And that's what's shown in every single one of our trainings. And then all the team members that here's the doctor owner, all the team members are like, oh, we're bringing in $9 billion a year, but it's really costing us just $1 less than $9 billion a year to run our practice, right? Of course, I'm exaggerating, people. Okay, don't hold me to $9 billion.
Of course not.
Yeah, some of them out there will Rob, that was inaccurate information. Oh, shut up. Get over yourself. Anyway, but that's the problem. We see people running on such thin margins that if a hygiene appointment doesn't show up, they're now in the red for that hour.
Can I shamelessly plug that we have a software that analyzes all of that for our clients?
Yeah, but that's only after they go through the team training. They can take the advanced business training, because otherwise, you guys, honestly, and this is nothing against all of you, you will not understand the advanced business training if you have not gone through team training. We actually tried that. We tried running people through the advanced training without the team training, and we
were poor little lost puppies. They had no clue what was going on.
Shame on Tracy and I. They crashed and burned, and they were all signed up for team training within the next 6 weeks, and they had to sit on their knowledge until going through team training. And then a couple of them came back through the advanced training so that it actually made more sense to them. And it's just funny. I just laugh. Anyway, continuing, quote, "It is always surprising to me how many dentists do not submit their full fee on a claim," said Dr. Johnston. "It may be due to many factors, including a front office person that does not like to deal with the practice management system's accounting package, so they just submit the fee that they know will not require any write-offs, making their job easier. The doctor may not be aware of the reduced fees submitted by the team member and then wonders why there are never any increases in the reimbursement."
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting here. So Dr. Johnston, if you are listening to this podcast, please reach out, because I'm very frustrated over that statement. So you're telling me that the front office team member who is actually using correct accounting practices
that is not taught in any of the consulting companies out there. All right?
So they're accurate with their production and their collections as a result. They know exactly what they produce is going to be collected pretty much. And their job is easier by doing this. That's a bad thing?
My God, what planet are you on, my dear colleagues? First of all, we dentists throw these wonderful front office people in those management positions with no business training. Shame on us, number one. The majority of those wonderful front office peeps come to us with little to mostly zero formal business training, and we demand the world from them. If they want to follow business accounting principles that are followed in every other freaking business worldwide by actually billing out near exact procedural totals so that they know exactly what they should be collecting from the patient and the PPO plans, I am completely supporting them in doing so. Those are actually the smarter OMs out there that are doing that. It makes their job so much easier, and God knows they need more accounting procedures that are fast, simple, and easy.
Might I add that when you bill out what you collect, it helps you, doc, avoid potential for fraud?
Oh, you just took my thoughts right on my noggin, hun. Go for it.
When you have adjustments in any way with your dental office, unless you're looking directly at the EOB and confirming every single write-off, doc, that opens up too many doors. And unfortunately, we just had it happen with somebody approached us the other day. They caught another issue.
Yeah, we help. Yeah, and sometimes sometimes it's fraud. Sometimes it's just ignorance. They don't know, and they are honestly good people and just making a stupid mistake that they didn't know they shouldn't be making. But man, that is the opportunity. That's the number one opportunity center for committing fraud. Sending in your fee-for-service fees and having all those write-offs, that allows the OMs who are devious to be able to hide money. Much easier.
And, I'm going to give an example just to hopefully make it a little easier to understand here with these write-offs. In most states, if the patient has fluoride and they're an adult, many of those states will allow you to bill out your full fee-for-service fee. Now, many offices actually will bill out their full fee regardless. That's a different point. But having said that, if you receive an EOB back, you've collected, let's say, $20 for the fluoride. And the fluoride states in the EOB, it states that you should be reducing that fee down to $15. Most of your front office people actually won't reduce that fee. Most of the time, they're going to say, well, you know what? It's not covered. I'm going to collect my full fee. I'm going to ignore that EOB saying to write off $5. It's the same concept with other services. And when something is not covered, we do encourage for you to bill out your full fee for service fee. So please know that we optimize the reimbursements that you receive as a result of doing your service. We're talking about covered services that the insurance companies have already told you how much your fee is. It's very important that we know that we kind of emphasize that there are two different things, covered and non-covered. And so when an EOB says this is not a covered code, write off the difference, that's where we see the issues. The patients, the front office team members are writing off the difference in these services. That is an unnecessary insurance write-off. It's not covered.
Well, that's the whole reason why non-covered service laws were created.
Exactly.
And yet many of you out there, when I say many, 98% of you out there, are complaining about your reimbursement fees, but you are not taking advantage of your laws. And I'm going to rip on a couple dentists over the years who have actually looked at our training, and their question is, but Rob, of all the increase that I can possibly get, who pays for that? Is the patient going to pay for that? My patient can't possibly pay for that.
Can I answer that?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Every single dentist out there that makes that statement, well, who pays for that? Does that mean the patient has to pay for that? That again is the problem with us dentists. We do not receive business training, and that is the most stupidest, illiterate statement you can possibly make is, oh my gosh, my patient has to pay for that? I can't possibly charge my patient. Who should be paying for dentistry then, doc? Why don't you keep going on your merry way of complaining you only make $120,000 a year and things are getting worse and you haven't given your staff an increase in pay. You can't put away money for retirement. You can't buy new equipment without getting a loan. Keep whining about it when the answers are right in front of you with our training. The things that we train on things that nobody else trains on. We know that. We get that. But ours are all grounded in business, ethics, and the contracts and state laws. What a concept. Get it, Trace?
Well, I'm just thinking about the fact that if you have something that is your full fee for service fee, it's not covered, you would be charging your fee for service patients the same thing. So what's the difference between the fee for service and the insured patients?
No, you're wrong. You're wrong, Tracy, because we would be giving them an 87% discount because they're fee for service. So we've got to discount our work constantly.
Oh, that's right. They have to
discount it. Free. Give it free. We give it away as a courtesy to our patients. We wear that with a badge of honor.
Unfortunately, we've heard that a few times.
Yeah, but yet y'all still complain. And then you complain. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Please be directional. Put some business hats on. There's two more points. First, reimbursements again are not increased by sending in your fee-for-service fees. And all of us who are or have been taking PPO plans know this simple truth as stated earlier. And second, following accounting principles of exact billing of patients on PPO plans reduces the temptations of fraud and embezzlement from our wonderful front office people. And the ADA should know that. My friends at the ADA, you should know that. In finishing the article, we read, quote, "The council is also reminding dentists of the importance of conducting an annual review of their signed PPO agreements and talking to payers about fee increases. The ADA's contract negotiations toolkit may come in handy if dentists want to try to renegotiate contract terms and provisions, including network fee schedules," end quote. Well, allow me to let you in on a little secret, ADA leadership. Fee negotiations are done every 2 years, not annually, and many dental plans no longer negotiate. Unbelievable. You are making it harder for key opinion leaders like myself, to convince non-members to join the ADA when you put crap like that out there. For the love of all that is dental, please come up to speed on this PPO shiz, would you? I mean, I just asking for a friend.
My final thing to say is I'm looking right now today at an ADA email, and it's mentioning that number one, pay raises outpace inflation in June. So we're paying our team members more than inflation. That's very interesting to me. It goes on to state that Gen X is unprepared financially for retirement. We're paying people more money to keep them in the practice. We're losing money as a result of this misinformation that we're being taught in regards to insurance companies. And there's again another push for us to go in network and to work with Medicare, Medicaid. And the problem is until those fees increase, we can't do it. There's no way that we can continue to lower our reimbursement rates with these insurance companies, regardless of the push from the ADA. Until things change, we can't do it. And so seeing that we're paying more, receiving less, something's got to give.
And the chief complaints that we're getting from the doctor owners of practices is that hygienists want more money, front office, back office want more money. In that article, they're saying that the pay raises are exceeding
by 1.5% in June.
But that's just 1 month.
That's just 1 month. I cannot wait to see
what about the last 30 years? I'm just curious.
Well, we haven't seen that jump in reimbursement rates ever, so I'd say, I would.
Insurance companies are lowering negotiated fees to less than what was agreed to. And that's another thing. This is not including those plans who fall under a network leasing company. And how would you catch that, hon? If you build your fee-for-service fees, how would you catch them lowering their fees that back up. We agree with the insurance company to take a certain fee schedule, certain amount, and then they arbitrarily flip it, lower it than what we sign an agreement to. And if you're sending in your fee-for-service fees, my wonderful front office team members, how are you going to catch it? We caught 2 insurance companies doing this last year, and when we called, they stated that there was a bug in our system. We don't know how that happened. So how many offices are unnecessarily writing off or reducing the services because they are billing their fee-for-service fees and not catching it when the insurance companies do and have a bug in their system that you were at reimbursement plan 1 and you got higher negotiated amounts, reimbursement plan 2, but your fee-for-service fees are incredibly higher than those reimbursement fees. If you're not billing out your contracted fees that you agreed to, how would you catch it? How would you even know it? Like, because on the EOB, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're negotiated for $100 on a service, that was your new negotiation, and all of a sudden they flip it back to $87, at that $13 difference, and they say, oh, you got to write off $13 more, and you scratch your head, you go, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. So you check your contracted fee, and it is at $100, and you're not supposed to write off $13 or reimburse the patient for $13. How would you know if you're sending in your fee-for-service fees? How would you catch that?
There is no way to catch that unless the person is actually checking line by line and verifying the fee schedule. There's no way you can catch it. But what's really fun for me is our dental assistants are trained to bill out and to receive the EOBs. And so watching team members be able to take on this supposedly difficult task of billing and receiving EOBs is pretty neat to watch, because what we do is we expect it to add up. If I bill out $113 for a service, maybe around a cleaning or something, then I'm going to expect to receive $113 back, and it's going to match on those EOBs. But if it suddenly says 100, that is my red flag that something is wrong. Either I billed out incorrectly or the insurance company tried to screw us over.
Well, I hope we've been very clear on this, and I hope that all of you are starting to understand the truth. I want you guys to, I mean, there's just so much misinformation in this article. It just makes me want to get upset, which I think I've pretty much done on this whole podcast. That's right. It's my angry music podcast being played. But again, this cookie cutter business article, and I do mean it's cookie cutter. And we hear it. We constantly hear it from people. You must send in your fee-for-service fees. Well, let common sense prevail, my friends. If that's actually been working all these years, especially in states like Utah and Nevada and Washington and other states that are being inundated with PPO plans, if that's the truth, then why is Delta Dental decreased by 10% across the board, 20% across the board? Why? We've all been sending in our fee-for-service fees.
What about Cigna? Cigna just dropped it across the board, too. Everybody knows about that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Can we just allow common sense to prevail? And again, I hope some of you, I'm sending this podcast to the ADA. So as soon as it comes out, they're going to have it right front and center. And maybe they need to talk to the offices in states where they're inundated with PPOs before they write articles that cause people to go, if the ADA is putting that stuff out, why am I even a member of the ADA? Why am I? Well, again, I'm going to emphasize there are other wonderful things the ADA does. Yeah, they do stupid things, and I've seen it, and I've been there firsthand. But they also do a lot of good things, and it's worth the membership fees. People just join, but hold them accountable. Write in, call in, email in. Let them have it, and especially on your state level, especially with your state associations. Those executives should be doing the hard work. And if they don't know how, have them call the executive here at the Utah Dental Association. Maybe he can teach them a thing or two. Any thoughts, last words, sweetheart?
Last words are, ADA, we are here for you. We will give you all of the documentation we have to support this podcast. Very important to us that we search for truth and we prove it as well. Secondly, dental offices, think about your patients. We want them on your side, not the insurance company's side. How can we do that? By billing out our contracted fees for covered services so that we can be accurate for those patients. We're not showing the patients a savings, which actually solidifies the relationship with you instead of the insurance companies. And it remains transparent when it comes to treatment planning. There are many, many wins with this. And then lastly, of course, accounting wise, your team members up front will be very, very accurate with the money coming in that is expected and being able to collect that amount as well.
Sweetheart, thanks for joining me on the podcast.
That's fun.
We love all of you guys out there. We are working hard on your behalf continuously, and we hope you have a jammin' wonderful day. Until we meet next time, have a good day.
Thank you for being with us today. Since 2006, My Practice, My Business has been teaching dentists and their teams business skills, dental insurance contractual protocols, and state laws governing how to profitably bill patients fairly for the need-based services they provide. What's more, we guarantee our training, unlike other dental consulting companies in the industry. Simply stated, if you don't increase your net revenue, we don't get paid. We call it dental consulting the way it should be. We believe there has never been a more important time than now for dentists to experience and implement our key methods, knowledge, and business training within their dental practices. To learn more about our guaranteed, no-risk clinical business of dentistry training that is changing dental practices for the better, just go to our website, mypracticemybusiness.com, and surf our pages for additional information about our company and the services we provide. When you're ready, give us a call and get scheduled for the most profitable dental business training that you will ever experience. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. Thank you again and have a fantastic day.